That's how we can easily stay in stories and experiences and energies of the past, because we stay in the fear of what we felt because our minds are keeping us in a place that thinks we're safe while suppressing the body consciousness that came in to release itself. Welcome to the Raw and Wild Hearts, a place where the raw, the unfiltered, the wild hearts gather to celebrate triumphs and hardships, learn from each other, grow together, and break down a culture rooted in fear. We will talk, we will laugh, and we will lean on each other about everyday life experiences that we could all use a little support through, and then we'll bask in the wild, magical beings that we are. My philosophy is that by embracing the dark, we may just let in the light. I am your host, Lori Rising, healer, educator, writer, adventurer, retreat leader, birth defender, and animal enthusiast and activist. Along with my wild heart sidekick Kitty, Beezus the Brave, we'd like to invite you to get excited about the Wild Heart Revolution. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Raw and Wild Hearts podcast. I'm your host and guide, Lori Rising, and welcome to this unfolding journey. Welcome to You Do Not Need Plant Medicine. And let me tell you why. You are plant medicine. Where do you place your belief? What do you believe is possible? These are the messages that just keep getting hammered into me from my guides. And there's all kinds of examples, if you will, coming up to show, even in the most conscious of spaces, how we still may be running on those very deep-seated subconscious beliefs from the conditioning and programming that we've been absorbing for generations, for lineages that has been passed down through our cells, through our energy, through our experience. And I know with the nodal axis that we're in right now, which is North Node in Taurus and South Node in Scorpio, this really is one of the most pivotal points in our new earth rebirth and consciousness revolution, are in parentheses, because we are being guided back to the medicine we came in with. Literally, the most powerful healing and medicine came in with us. It really is not the construct of medicine that we have created all around us. Now, do not get me wrong. I'm so stoked on the advances that we have in medicine, especially the surgical support in acute situations. That means life or death situations. But we have abused that system to create a mindset and belief in external power, in an expert narrative. And I am now bringing this thought, idea, and energy into plant medicine because I am noticing people that have very big platforms using plant medicine in consciousness expansion. Okay, so there's many threads that I want to weave. So just come along for the ride. Open your cells and get curious about what resonates in the frequency that I'm sharing here. So when I say that you are plant medicine, I wholeheartedly mean that and absolutely deeply believe that. We are the same life force that pulsates through all energy, and everything is energy. We just take on a different form and have been ultra programmed into a mind control and linear language that has separated us from the consciousness connection in that life force energy with all. So whatever it is that plant medicine opens within you, you have that potential and capacity to open within yourself. Our bodies, our cells, our DNA is the access point to all that is, all that ever was, all that ever will be. to literally all universal knowledge that is in the form of life force energy. So I just want to ask you right now, do you believe me? What's coming up for you? Do you believe that you have the capacity and the innate healing mechanism to take yourself into the deepest spaces of consciousness expansion beyond the linear mind, the control mind, the conditioned mind? And I just want to let you sit with that for these moments. And remember, what you think can be very different than what you deeply believe at your core. Now, this is where the external power and expert narrative come in. Even though plant medicine, the environment, the facilitator are very different than an institutionalized medical system, pharmaceuticals, and our one-size-fits-all system, we can very much continue and even solidify the belief of the expert narrative and believing something outside of us is going to heal us or that we need to be saved. Because y'all, that belief system runs very deep. And let me just share with you something that's so powerful that I feel your cells will resonate with and start to question and observe what's running below the conscious thought mind or rationalizing mind, subconscious experience and imprints. And it's way past time that we as a culture start truly diving into one of the most impactful spaces and experiences of our life and of the transcendence that's available to us in this 3D reality, which is the birth experience. Whether you go on to have children or not, you have been born. And that is where the root of our experiences as human beings in this physical reality truly comes in at the moment of conception. It's not even at birth. We are literally energy and emotional and experience absorbers since the very second we took on this earth body in the womb. Now, before I go on to talk about how impactful this time is, any of you that have had children and have been through birth, I want you to go ahead and take a deep breath right now, soften in, and let go of the story. Release the inner critic and release the judgment, and be in the empowered space of knowing that we have the capacity, the potential, the light, and the frequency to heal anything that we've been through. And we have the ability to heal in parallel timelines through our experiences and with the people in our lives. So in the system that runs on control, power over, profit-based, and outcome-based, liability-based, we oftentimes conceive from a place of fear, lack, and stress because we're held as a statistic. We are given worst case scenarios and we are separated from our spiritual essence and even the role that our consciousness plays in the conception of a child, the celebration, the welcoming, the ceremony, and the initiation of this magical and unique human being that is coming with a purpose to be our teacher. And just take a moment right now to feel into that. If you have gone through birth and brought a human into this experience and world, was that the vibe you were getting from the people around you, especially your healthcare team? So typically what happens is immediately your pregnancy gets hijacked by their expertise, their control, their decisions on what tests you're going to get, how you're going to get them, why you're going to get them. And what this actually leads to is parents losing that very important innate guidance that they came in with to support the pregnancy going well and to support the birth going well. So little by little, we continue to ramp up the fear and stress and the what ifs and environments that are sterile and rules about what you can and can't do. I'm basically just painting a picture here, or even taking you back to how that felt, feeling that unsupported in the time when we should be the most supported from our communities and our caregivers and providers and our collective. So throughout that time, and especially into the birthing time, you are trained to question and doubt all of the innate guidance that you're receiving, that again was exactly what came in with you to support you and make birth go well. Because remember, we didn't have hospitals and doctors that had gone through 4 years of medical school, 4 years of internship when we came in. We had the innate source energy and guidance and connection with our child. We knew that the child was already in connection with us, communicating with us through life force energy, our cells, and consciousness connection. So basically where I'm taking you here is showing you that how by the time we actually give birth and have children in this culture, we have questioned ourselves and been dismissed so often that we don't even trust ourselves as parents and innate health creators. And not only that, but oftentimes as we're moving through these systems, we're actually duped. We're only given part of the information. We're given biased information in order to be coerced into the rules or the decision of that person in power over role. So I'm really just taking you on a little journey here back to your time of conception, your entry into the world, and even your first years in the world. Because if this is the belief system that is happening within your parents, this is the belief system that you're taking on. And this is the belief system that is most dominant in the culture and energy around you. It becomes very solidified and imprinted into our subconscious and our cells. That's how powerful and absorptive we are. It's actually one of our superpowers. But because we rely so much on our thought process in our reasoning mind, we take that as our truth when really we can just be telling ourselves something. And when that doesn't go into alignment with what our soul believes, that soul belief is what gets emanated out through our energy and our magnetization process. And just to reiterate a little bit more on this point, again, I'm looking to perk your cells up where they're like, oh my gosh, right. Wait a second, and get curious and start exploring where your deepest belief systems are, especially when it comes to healing, consciousness expanding, integrative experiences, multidimensionality, and moving beyond the linear mind, the control mind. My mentor, John Barnes, who is one of the forefront leaders of our bodies being the access point to the quantum field, to all of consciousness, he talks about it as channel 3 and channel 5. And it just makes so much sense to me. So I'm sure many of you know about 3D and 5D realities. So 3D is our physical reality. It is our control mind. It's how we operate in the world around us. And 5D is higher dimensional fields where we access our higher consciousness and infinite and starlight selves. It's where the quantum field resides. And I like to call that the realm of unconditioned. As we move into deeper states of enlightenment and ascension through shadow work and trauma transformation, which is literally releasing the density out of our cells that creates space to uncover the living library of knowledge that literally is in our cells. Y'all, the entire universe is inside of ourselves. We are an extension of cosmic energy. We are an extension of nature. We are life force energy, which is the same as all around us. And we share that connection and consciousness with energy when we tap in our light body activation. As we release the emotional and physical traumas, imprints, wounds, triggers, and even karmas from our cells it reawakens what we've always known, what we came in with before we got hit with the density of the physical body that is absorbing the lineages and parallel lives by the time we even jump in for the first time at conception. So I've been taking you on this thread to get to the point where I want you to feel into how, even though plant medicine is different, it is definitely different than the Band-Aid medicine that is powered by the profiteering pharmaceutical companies, that is wonderful in very short, acute, must-need situations. So yes, the energy, the vibration, the frequency of plant medicine is very different. And also, I want us to notice that the mindset or belief around it may not look or feel that different. Does it feel like a quick fix? Does it tempt you with immediate gratification? That takes us into our limiting construct of time that has created resistance and blocks over and over when we stay in that focused energy. Do you believe that you need some kind of substance to alter your reality for deeper states of healing? And that can be so valid. You may have been through so many types of modalities. You may have stayed on the pure talk therapy train because we are conditioned for talk therapy, since it's a part of our medical model, since insurance covers it. And honestly, talk therapy without anything somatic, which is of the body, can easily keep us in a mind control and even mind fear loop. If we continue to try, and I say try because anything linear like this takes more efforting. But if we continue to try to access our emotional body, our cellular memory, our fascia through our mind, or even hold the imprints down from fear of feeling that experience again, we are on a very long construct of time and a very long linear loop of the mind. That's how we can easily stay in stories and experiences and energies of the past, because we stay in the fear of what we felt because our minds are keeping us in a place that thinks we're safe while suppressing the body consciousness that came in to release itself when we are in spaces of flow, of ease, of adaptability, and of welcoming the vulnerability, the emotionality, and even the imprint of the experience that's moving through us for the final release. These bodies are made to move through the shadow and emotion. Like, let's deeply take that in. That's actually how we discover and reawaken our innate medicine. It's through the human experience. And when we can activate our new earth or new belief system of nervous system care, deep observation, and ultimate belief system transformations, and high light frequency consciousness connections, we can easily and quickly tap into the spaces of universal all-knowing through the body as the conduit. And what we've been doing is using something external as the conduit, even with plant medicine, right? It can be pharmaceuticals, Western meds, it can be supplements, it can be herbs, it can be so many things. And as we move deeper into this beautiful new age of Aquarius, we are the ones that get to usher it in. This is the place where we will be living from frequency, energy, and light, not from the density that we've known for thousands of years. We get to experience both worlds at a very profound level. If you can think forward to 100 years from now, those humans on the planet will be living in high frequency states with their energy body. They'll be living in integrative states first. We're still navigating through density as our habit, our reaction, our neural pathways, the patterns that we've created for generations. And y'all, we get to be here to heal the lineage karma, the core wounds that have continued from states of fear, of tension, of control, of lack, scarcity, the limitations that have come from sensationalism, domination, power over, top-down structures. This changes, and we are on the precipice right now through the winter solstice into the first month of 2023 when all planets go direct. By January 23rd, it feels to me like we will be in deliberate, integrative ascension states. And that's where we don't have to remind ourselves so often to disrupt the reactive patterns that have been running for so long, where we will automatically move into quiet, space, expansion, and flow, because we know that in those spaces, we get the innate medicine, we get the innate guidance, we go to places that we've never experienced before. And that's where I ask you, what do you believe is possible? Because the experiences I continue to have in higher consciousness realms are spirit blowing. I mean, they are incredible. And it's because I hold the belief I've always known since I came in as a child in Starseed that we could levitate. I knew that we could produce miracles on the reg. And I also came in those stressful environments, in those core wounds and deep traumas of my lineage and dark decades of the soul here. So when we truly invite the journey, the unfolding layers that come with the excavation, the exploration of our deepest triggers and wounds through the body, which is the access point. Like if you're going to look at taking something externally in order to get into those spaces beyond the linear thought mind and control mind, you could look at that, that like quote unquote drug or medicine as your body. It takes your time, your intention, and your belief in the absolute potential of pure divine majesty that you came in with. We did not get served these bodies that are faulty. We got served the powerful ability to tap into the deepest healing states beyond the mind. Yeah, I mean, we just are so mind focused and mind heavy in this culture. And the true depth of expansion really moves through our embodiment, our sensory system, literally the way we communicated in the womb and as newborn children. That's the universal language. And then we got fully immersed in the mind-focused linear language because that was the communication of the adults around us and how we were moving into school systems and how we have been learning and communicating ever since. So I guess what I'm coming to here is, if we go into ceremony, please, if you do, make sure it's very well guided with someone that you have an amazing reference on. But again, we take this substance that moves us into a mind-altered space and not actually releases the imprints from our somatic experience and physical body conduit. So then there again, we're solidifying a belief system in something outside of ourself. And honestly, I don't know how deeply we would and will integrate those experiences that move through the mind when our bodies are still living in density and imbalance. Keeping all of these wounds and traumas within our cells creates physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental imbalances that only continue to tighten and restrict as our body consciousness or even our nervous system wants to protect itself. And so if we're holding on to an imprint of wounding, pain, emotional, physical trauma, our fascia, which is the connective tissue of our body, and it's an absolute incredible substance. I highly recommend The Secret Life of Fascia in conjunct with this podcast, because it will continue to turn your cells on to what they already know. And then when we stay in places of resistance, never allowing for the density to be released from our cells in spaces of flow and ease and innate health that we guide ourselves through, we run on the experience and program of continual resistance. And then where else does that show up in your life? So this is really where I take people in my containers, and it's why I made the decision to go bigger, supporting people one-on-one and seeing such beautiful quantum immediate shifts in their aura, in their empowerment, especially when we moved into pelvic bowl therapy. There would be an immediate reconnection with the creator energy and knowledge that pulsates in our bodies from our root, from our life source, and oftentimes from the imprints that have come in from the life source of our mother, from her womb area and energy. So I am bringing this remembrance out at a much larger scale, because we aren't even scratching the surface of the miraculous potential as humans. And when we stay in the belief system that limits us to only what we've experienced in our past, which puts us in the fear of what could or might happen in the future, we just continue to believe that something outside of us is the only way that we can make transformational shifts in our experience. And so I want for everyone, especially those that are seeking the soul's journey and manifesting and living the beautiful reality that you came here to share and create, to first of all know that they have every potential and ability within this beautiful, complex, unique, light-supported system to turn off channel 3 and explore the wonders, the expansion, the acceleration, their root of love, of creation, of evolution, of God, source, great spirit, and of the body consciousness energy that is so much greater or more powerful than the mind breaks and even fear that has stopped that life force from unleashing the deepest and most profound states of healing that humanity has ever known. And yes, you can access all of this without plant medicine or any other external resource. Now, I'm going to highly recommend a support and guidance system to get there, because those neural patterns of mind control over body experience, expectation, outcome can absolutely be quite layered. And this is why I have developed the containers that I have to help people move into places where even at first they just get unstuck, because we might not even know why or how we are stuck in the conditioning or the limitations. And then we move deeper, step by step, layer by layer, until our cells remember the deepest places of that innate sensory navigation system, our light body activation and star self, so that that becomes bigger than holding on to the resistance and density. And then you move easily from channel 3 to channel 5. I can turn it on and off because I have reactivated the deep cellular remembrance of how our body consciousness came to be its own innate healer and its own medicine guide. And of course, there's an integration period because the mind has to wrap around what just transpired through the body and cellular imprints as we release those patterns and emotions through the unwinding. But whatever was surfacing is actually now released from the body consciousness and physical being. And so we get to live in more flowing, buoyant states with our cells in fluidity and space integrating all of the new downloads and light codes and messages coming through from our multidimensional connections. And I'm going to be real here. You get to do it without all of the excrements that come along with the plant medicine journey, but you also get to do it in a full state of empowerment. And then you move into full beliefs and what's possible that you haven't experienced yet. There's a cascade effect and a ripple effect that happens here, but in so many ways, as we usher in the golden age, it is all about moving into our agency, our sovereignty, and our infinite potential that only continues to accelerate through the magnetic field shifting and the veil being pretty much non-existent. We have tremendous access and connection with our guides, our higher consciousness, the higher dimensional realms for how we move into these spaces of integration in this unfolding journey, for the nervous system care that we are making our priority, for the innate healing and medical wisdom that is absolutely beyond the thinking and linear control mind. Now, I am in no way telling you not to have an amazing healthcare, wholeness, and wellness team, but I am telling you to check in with how does your team create and hold supportive and empowering spaces for you? Do they believe that you absolutely have the potential to heal in all capacities? That is bottom line, because that becomes our belief system, especially when we hear anything in a medical environment, y'all. I know I've said this before, but it becomes a prestige suggestion. And then anything that we hear contrary to that environment cannot trump the power that we've put into those walls and into that system. And the more we get wildly intentional with supporting the providers that you absolutely resonate with, have a meaningful connection with, and deep trust in, then we start changing the dominant narratives and systems one by one. Your intention and your choices for your experience here absolutely contribute to the whole. Okay, how does that feel? I feel like I've been on one of my full multidimensional passion rides for a while now. About a good 30 minutes to be exact. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit now about why I like plant medicine. So there's a part of me, I'm just going to be super real with y'all right now. There's a part of me that kind of wants everyone to experience plant medicine just for, I don't know, a second, so that they have the opportunity to feel that shift beyond the thinking mind, right? That shift from channel 3 to channel 5. Now, that being said, I do not want to create a belief system and reliance on that external substance to be the catalyst to make that shift. Now, I think I'm saying that from the place of, there are many humans on the planet that have not dropped into the soul's journey, have not looked into a consciousness evolution or revolution. And I don't know, maybe there's a little selfish part of me that I would love for us all to be levitating, which I know that we absolutely can do because I've done it in these body unwindings. I have literally levitated off the floor. So that is a part of my past experience. And I know that everyone has the potential, but I also can't make you believe that, right? And this plant substance alters the consciousness to bypass the control mind and the brakes to tap into part of that universal knowledge, that life force energy, where we find states of love frequency, of unity consciousness, of what we came in, the highest frequency as infinite light beings that we came into the bodies with. But as soon as we hit into the bodies, we also went into the density of the physical reality, the mindsets, conditionings, the wounds, the lineage, which is really magical. Tap into our ability there. But then when we become so unconscious about it, that's what really skews it and creates deep states of imbalance. So yeah, I guess I'm just saying there's a part of me that knows that even if everybody could experience that quickly, we might have a really fantastic consciousness shift that just moves in a quantum way. And I'm also very aware that we probably are not ready for that. And that's the part of plant medicine that I also want to bring up, because it can take you into a space that you may not be ready for. Body, mind, soul, physicality, not just your mind, but especially your mind as well. We often integrate the lessons and the learnings, the evolution of life as we are ready in our physical world, in our linear world. And the thing with plant medicine is it can really blow your chakras wide open and leave you in tremendous states of vulnerability that when you come back into the physical reality, you just may not have the capacity to integrate, especially on your own. And so that's why I say, if you make the informed choice to engage with plant medicine, and now I say informed choice because I'm sharing with you all the majesty and potential of you accessing these states through your body, not through some external medicine. So that makes it more of an informed choice, because if you only believe or hear that you can access these states of consciousness in a plant medicine ceremony, and you've never heard one of the many people who have experienced this modality and this cellular unwinding that I speak of, you don't even know of where you can go with your alignment, your intention, your exploration, and your deliberate choice to move into cellular recoding and activation. So now you know, the more you know. And so now you get to make an informed choice, right? And I also just want you to take into consideration all of the factors, I should say, that can come along with plant medicine, right? So you can go on retreat, and this can be the same with my retreats, where we go into our body consciousness connection in channel 5 without the aid or the need for an external substance. But you can go on retreat and you can, have these amazing guides, and you go through this amazing experience, and then you go back into your physical reality with chakras that are blown wide open, because everyone's going to move through these journeys in different ways. But if you take yourself there step by step, and you know how to move into the two worlds, right? You can straddle the two worlds. You can go back and forth. You can turn channel 5 on. You always have the choice to turn it off with channel 3. You're always conscious and aware when you're moving through the cellular activations and unwindings, and that can be very different than plant medicine as well, because those are altered states of consciousness. And with the cellular release, it's altered states of consciousness that are powered by you. And you are always in your sensory system and your innate navigation. So this is not a podcast to diss plant medicine. I use plant medicine as cacao, which is not mind altering. It's not consciousness altering. It's actually an adaptogen. It's a beautiful heart medicine and activator through the nutrients that it pours into our body for deeper states of balance and sensory activation. And maybe I just feel like we need to have a little bit bigger of a conversation about the impact of the collective consciousness when we shift our belief system by experiencing the potentials of miracles, of levitating, of releasing the emotions and imprints, of healing the lineage karmas through our body, through our agency, through the wondrous magic of our cells and DNA. Because when that becomes the dominant, deepest belief systems that we run on, pick up a little bit of Dr. Joe Dispenza. That is how we manifest, create, and magnetize the profound healing states that blow our medical system out of the universe, that almost implode doctors' minds. That really is our birthright of creation energy, and has been hijacked by the power over systems that have assaulted our nervous system and left us in survival, stress, and control. And I guess the last thing that I want to say about plant medicine is I love that we are getting scientific evidence of the benefits of it, because I know that it can very well make a big difference in quantum ways when there may be time sensitive obstacles. When we might not have the time to explore moving into deeper states of channel 5 over channel 3, or the subconscious beliefs and mindsets that are preventing us from accessing our body consciousness, et cetera, et cetera. So I completely recognize that. And honestly, like I said, this is not a podcast about not doing plant medicine, but it's actually a podcast about full informed consent and how important it is that we know definitively that we came in with the access point through our cells, through our body, to everything and more that you discover through plant medicine. The timeline and journey might just look a little different. And I'm just going to leave you with this little reminder of how wildly powerful we are when we believe in something. And that's the placebo effect. That demonstrates more than anything how we have our best innate medicine and how deeply we have disempowered or disconnected that energy and placed it in the external substance or power that we are subscribing to. So, when it's a double-blind study and one side of the group gets sugar pills, the other side gets the actual pharmaceutical or medication. And when people heal themselves in the placebo group, it's because they believe that they're getting the actual medication. Literally, that pill, no matter what it is the access point that we have been trained to believe in through generations. And it absolutely can go the other way as well. And that's called the nocebo effect. When people believe that they have something or they're afflicted with something, and they continue to repeat that thought and belief until it becomes their reality. So if you take anything from this time together, from this exchange, from this share, I hope it's that you have a new excitement for the potentials and possibilities, and that you've let go of any stories or judgment about where you are now and what you have done in the past until now, and how impactful the dominant belief system and narrative is. And I am absolutely harping on this because I want every single one of us to be able to easily tap into the collective consciousness, the grid and belief system that we all have access to, the deepest spaces of healings that we were gifted with in these bodies. And when we normalize that, we will only grow into our limitless potentials as energy, light, frequency healers. All right, y'all. I've kept you a little extra today. These messages came in so powerfully for me this morning. Guess why? It's the 1212 portal. Yes, yes, yes. And if you would like to work deeper with me or check out my offerings, containers, and programs, head on over to therawandwildhearts.com. I always tell people a great way to start, especially if you're feeling stuck, is with a personal reading with me. They're only going to be going for a little bit longer because I have my retreat experiences, and my Mexico retreat, which is coming up January 26th to the 31st, is literally the absolute acceleration of everything I've been talking about today. This is my hands-on experience for people that are ready to go into full embodied ascension and cosmic acceleration. So there is one space left in that retreat experience, and I have been calling in the soul that is meant to complete this container every day in the forest, in the trees, because remember, we are nature. And the more that you take yourself out and just commune, You get the downloads, you get the messages, you get the guidance into the deeper states of healing and transformation of where your path is unfolding. So check it all out. Notice what your cells are saying to you, not what your mind is rationalizing. And if you have any questions, hit me up. I am absolutely here for support, and I would love to connect with you on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be giving away a reading when I hit 1K subscribers. And come on over to my Instagram for some yummy inspiration and hella fun. Definitely take a screenshot of this episode, tag me so I can share the love with my community as well. And if there is something that has absolutely perked your cells up in this episode, share it with your community and your loved ones, because y'all, this is our time. This is the precipice. We get to choose where we go from here and how intentional we are with what we transform and magnetize. And I am ready for big stuff. Okay, until next time, don't forget to keep looking up. And with that, let's normalize the struggles, celebrate the quirks, and lean into the light. From myself and Beezus the Brave, happy Wild Heart Revolution, friends.